Welcome, everyone. This is your boy Jamal, and
I'm Saba.
she is back from her hiatus.
I know.
We had, a special guest last week, Peter. Peter is, he's fully on board with the team now. So you see what a conversation can do. So
You had
yeah,
some cool ideas. I watched your game. I was into it.
yeah, he's definitely been really integral in like helping us have an event in New York for the TNYC.
Yeah.
So he found a venue.
Are you
Which
happy? I committed to coming.
you're coming?
Yeah.
We got to plan it out.
You know
Uh,
what I think the confidence boost was is that my girlfriend's coming and she's in the space too. So now it's like, okay, cool. I have like another woman to navigate with, you know?
I mean, there's so many people going. So like people I met from like past conferences, we're all talking about going. We got the
I'm
Telegram
excited.
jumping. Um, yeah,
That's
it's a lot. I know at least like 15 people going.
okay. I got friends.
One of my boys who I met out here who I want to interview him next. Shout out to Ian. His name is Ian too. Random.
Your whole life is Ian's. That's crazy.
No. But he runs a company called BitTrees, and they're creating like this NFT wrapper, which is like this NFT vault, which is super intricate and really cool. He's a community manager. He's a
That's
ass,
crazy. That's a cool job.
yeah, he's a funny ass guy. I was wearing this mushroom sweater, and we connected over the mushrooms. Um, True Seattle Portland fashion, and I went to one of his shows. He performs. He's a singer. We did karaoke together in Portland,
Okay.
and so I'm like, we should do NFT NYC karaoke. I'm
Oh, yeah.
like, I'm like, he's like, you sing? I'm like, oh my god, do I? I'm like, we could have it going
You're
up.
like, that's
So
how I got my girl. Okay.
and then we also I'm talking with a guy named Chad. He's probably gonna see this soon. But he wants to do another event, which I'll kind of keep under cuff since we're live, but I'll talk to you about that separately. But it's just been so much going on. But less about me, more about you. Let's dive in any place you want to start.
There's so many things that happened. I'm trying to think. I got sick, but I recovered. I I finally unpacked. God bless. But what happened work and NFT wise? I'm trying to think. Well, I had an eventful week about IP last week. Let's just start there because it's top of mind.
Okay.
Um, it's just cool because I actually did tell my mentor how we recorded my first take on the IP situation. It's in one of our recordings where you asked me about it and how I felt about that idea. We were like, I think it was like the third episode or fourth episode where we were talking about just like IP being used with multiple people contributing to it. And I told you how, and I still think this is valid even after everything that happened, is that for certain projects, like actually our projects within the idea DAO make the most sense for this because they're all driven by like a greater purpose in a way. But for any idea that becomes to a point where you're affecting people's lives, which should be most, I don't know, but if it's affecting people's lives in a way, I don't think it becomes about the IP anymore in a weird way. I don't know how to explain it, but
So it's
for
more
me, it's more about the purpose of like, what is this actually, like all of us contributing to this idea? What's actually happening around the idea is way more important than the actual output of the IP. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like regardless of if this bot makes $3 million, the events that happened between all the women and the fact that there was like 10 women working on like an AI bot to heal, that was so much more important to me than to lose the idea of like that was my idea or like I wanted to start that. None of that shit matters.
yeah. I mean, it's just reframing how we view a market. Really, like
And I
reframing.
think that's why like the Web3 DAO, I think humanity's just got to that point, humanity rocks, but we're kind of at that place now where people are able to work with each other and say the IP isn't, yeah, it is important, but it's not funny enough in the NFT space, the IP, but it's all for something bigger than the actual picture output system, deliverable, whatever it is.
Well, yeah, I think it's like the whole goal of Web3 isn't to exploit it and make money. It's to add value and provide value. So once we rethink, like Web2, traditionally it's, how much can I get out? Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Web3 is about how much you can pour in. And people don't understand, like, again, there's strength in that vulnerability. So yeah, you just gotta pour in. And it's funny because I tweeted from the guy from Gitcoin, how he was saying how about, impact DAOs as an example used to be a niche of the ecosystem and now it's the trend, right? So yeah, so things like humanity rocks, all that type of stuff, practice empathy, that's now the trend.
But my
So
hot take is that's the same reason why wellness is the trend.
well, it is, but it the technology behind it is doing really amazing things, like quadratic funding, as an example, which is
Educate me. I don't
what
know
was
what that is. I don't know what that is. Educate me.
how about I learn it better to break it down myself, but the way it's just like I know it's like a multiple of four, obviously quad. So it's just multiple reoccurring funding sources to give you more money than initial. So I think it's like four people pouring in. I don't want to butcher it.
Okay.
Definitely something, but you can do quadratic funding. You can do quadratic voting. Just the mechanisms behind the things that are coming out of impact DAOs. It's another reason why it's being so trendy, because you can shape economies to polarize the bullshit that currently goes on and have that go out the way, and new governments for funding public aid will start to take hold of these mechanisms and make them the norm. So once those become normalized, I think it's going to be very interesting. But we got to wait. We're a ways away.
I think we need a lot more designers in the world. I really do. I have a little workshop coming up on Friday and I'm threw my heart and soul into it. So it's like 180 slides, which is crazy. But I had to just like get everything out of what I think about design. And I think that if Web3, this is so biased, but if Web3 leveraged design thinking, it would be game over. Because imagine all the
Well,
amazing things we create. Why are you hesitant?
well, who's to say that it isn't?
I think it is, but the fact that one, I don't think half of the people that are actually brilliant know that they have design capabilities. I think that there should be a lot more designers in the game, and I think like the communities like Figma and Contra, all those guys, like I don't know.
I think those are two separate points. Like people being in the space versus people using design thinking in the space. I think there are tremendous amounts of people that I've seen, like designers in the space. It's just so scattered. It's so sparse.
That's fair. Yeah.
And like you have to, again, your algorithms have to be set to see it. So if
Mm-hmm.
you may not be saying it, I know as an example, like I'm a part of Developer DAO, but in a DAO just for developers, there's a huge design guild, right?
That's like,
This is kind of why I was like, wait a minute, like I'm in a developer essentially only guild, but it's so diverse amongst the roles. There's writers, there's biz dev and marketing, there's community guilds, there's governance guilds, there's one developer DAO women guilds. So
the link.
what was
Send me
that?
the link. I said send me the link.
You do need to have an NFT to be a part of it,
Okay.
but I can definitely um
I want to
in-
join.
copy. Actually, I'm just going to invite you to 528 on Discord. Done. but
Sick.
you know, it's diverse. Every language. There's a channel for literally every country, state, major city,
That's
around
cool.
the entire world for in real life events. Um,
Who do you think this is so putting you on the spot? Who do you think has the best Discord you've seen so far?
Developer DAO for sure,
Oh wow. Okay.
for sure. I think my onboarding process was sweet. I actually had a call with people, and then people who weren't being onboarded just hopped in. I was like, "Yeah, I'm just here to listen." Like, "Oh, I've been here for the last year. Oh, what's up? This is what I do. This is
How do you
how
buy their NFT?
how do you what?
How do you buy their NFT?
OpenSea.
Why don't they have that linked on their website?
I'm sure they do, or somewhere. They have a link maybe on a Notion page or maybe a Twitter page.
I'm excited for our website. It looks cool so far.
I am too. To be honest, I think I am more excited about finally coming to like full circle with being cohesive. Some of the stuff that me and Marvin kind of like sketched out and outlined. Things like AMMs, automated market makers.
I was totally thinking, I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things that I am extremely excited that we have the potential to test out, and create actual real value. And that's the part within a lot of this space where people think this is smoke and mirrors, right? They're like
Mhm.
that Web3 shit. This is a Ponzi scheme. This is a scam. I'm not rocking with it. And for the projects that aren't creating actual value, you have a very
I
valid
just
point.
geeked out because I saw my name in the little brackets. I got so happy for a second.
What do you mean? What brackets?
And the little, it says like product, community. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I think that is the part that's most exciting. Just being able to create real value, at an exponential clip, throughout an ecosystem, where you can have true exchange of value and not just take, but you can still be financially incentivized. You can be either, there's a benefit from being an active participant, but there's also a benefit from being a passive participant. So those are the things that have been exciting me, going into the week. You also got to meet Ari.
Okay.
Ari is a front end developer, that I met. Um, she literally, she said her background story was she did a boot camp, um, like due to COVID. Like she was like, "Oh, my job is out, so I'm
Mhm.
gonna do this front end development boot camp." Um, Took the boot camp, went to East Portland, won a hackathon there. And Ian was like, "Oh, do you know Ari?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, you should meet her. She's from Seattle too." Talked with her, told her about our DAO, so showed her what we're building. Super interested in helping us out with things of that nature. I kind of was reminded of her because her project was through Hummingbot, which is an AMM, a Web3 product for finance, to like make your orders or whatnot. And so I
Okay.
was like, but then again, that's another reason why I brought her up is because you mentioned like designers in the space. Like she's bringing true like front end design, front end development,
Yeah,
experience.
automator.
Yeah, yeah,
That's so
for sure,
exciting.
for
I
sure.
love meeting cool female designers and developers because it's like, no offense, but it's just you can get shit done at a different method. It's not even different speed, but it's just a different method because women think in a certain way. But
There's Dame Dash. A lot of people dislike Dame. I rock with Dame. So Dame, if you ever see this, I rock with you. Because there's a lot of haters out there, but I respect the man tremendously. But one of the things I've heard him say before is like, I want to have a company with just me and all women. He's like, men are too egotistical, men are too full of shit. It's like it's just too much ego, like just me, and like he works really closely with his wife. and like he keeps like a team of women around him. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, that's, I get it, I understand it. Though I
Yeah,
do that I think there's room for the right type of people, regardless of gender.
I agree with that because I learned that week. I definitely learned you need different people with different personalities contributing, and it's actually a beautiful thing. Because it's people thinking outside of your constraints and they push you, which is cool. I actually had a really cool time with Moss because we were working on finishing up Flip-NFTs marketplace, and we were just talking about utility, and we were trying to create like a section on utility, and we were going through like all the projects in our little database, and like any time that they've showcased their utility, and we were trying to like I was trying to break down utility to him, and I couldn't get beyond access and experience. And I was like, oh my God, what if I'm explaining this wrong? There's so many other ways to this. But those
Right.
were the only two things that came to mind.
I mean, those work.
It-
Access, um, utility, money.
You're very floaty today.
Oh. I
Yeah.
guess camera. All
That
right, how
works.
it works. But yeah, there's all types of utility, but there's no reason. I think we are, at least for me, we can like overthink it, but just true exchange of value at the core of
Mhm.
it
You've
is,
used the word value like 20 times by now. It's top of mind for you.
well, I mean, when I give you $10 for, like back in the day, it was trade, sheep for cow, right? There's an exchange in value, or milk
Mm.
and eggs. Then it
Yep.
was, I give you this money, you give me the eggs. And
Yep.
so it's a true store of value. So the more we can have real value exchange, the better we're all going to be within like the Web3 ecosystem. So that's the main value prop, to be honest. No pun
I have
intended.
a
Value
question.
prop. Go
I
for
just
it.
thought of something. Are you planning on launching Humanity Rocks for NFT NYC?
So there's a very good chance that that happens. Um, there's
Did
a
I
very
just burst it?
there's a very good chance that it happens prior, because I am talking again with these L2s. But there's like this duality between get the bag for everybody, and then just do this independently, so to speak, or collectively independently without raising this big ass fund. And not even big fund, but like we talked about, raising capital, how we should raise capital, um, token distribution, like the whole nine, and even amongst different independent projects. And so that's super refreshing to kind of look at across the board, like how much it'll take to really get all of our projects out the door.
Mhm.
And when we looked at it, is to be honest, it's less about the money, but more about the more people we need to bring in to help facilitate the execution.
That's
Um, and so yeah, so yeah, I think launching all these things around the same time will be really advantageous, which is why I want more people to go to NFT NYC. Um, there's going to be so many side events. There's going to be um, it's going to be everything. I'm talking like Ian now about he sent me like this crazy, ridiculously interestingly nice Airbnb. He's like, oh, let's get people to book the Airbnb. Because that's what we did last time, right? It was like four of us, but this one is like nine people.
Mhm.
Manhattan is dope as fuck. I'm like, you're gonna try to have an after party. I know his type. He's a rallier. Ian rallies the community. They all flock to him. He reminds me of my sister. Very, very, very
Oh yeah,
talkative,
you meant
very warm and inviting. Felt like you've known him for years. Um, he had that draw. So yeah, it should be a good time.
I'm excited.
Him too. I want to get theirs out there. Um,
I thought Thurs was gonna come. He already committed. You're like, I know.
I
How
don't know.
come?
So, I know you mentioned before a while ago he had a trip during that time, but
Do
you
you
know,
have a due date during that time?
the end of July, 31st.
Okay, you got time.
I got a little bit of time, so it's like June, July. So ETH Seattle is in July, so I'm definitely going to that. We're working on some events for that too with the guys I met in Portland. Um, I might as well have to count the back. So it's a meditation event.
I love
Um,
it.
yeah, and I think like the goal for the event is to introduce other like meditation and projects, which is why I'm so kind of hell bent on practice empathy
Oh,
done
on my ass about practice empathy.
because the guy Chad, he was a monk for 10 years. So when it comes to
Oh,
mindfulness,
I remembered my thought.
run it.
I remembered what I wanted to talk about. So, practice empathy, yeah, it'll be what it was, but I want to branch. I'm already like scope creeping my own little project. I want to
All right.
scope creep myself and getting people who aren't empathetic to practice empathy is cool and all, but I really want to focus on people practicing empathy for empathetics because it's hard being an empathetic person. And then you're dealing with non empathetic people already. There
It's
should
hard.
be space for those people.
Lost me. Okay, so
So if
empathy.
you feel something deeply, right? So
Uh-huh.
practice empathy was kind of, this is so biased because I'm really trying to solve my own problem. But it was really driving from you want other people to have like a level of awareness of their empathy, right?
Hmm.
They could have a level of awareness of their empathy and still hurt empathetic people, is what I'm trying to say. So, empathetic people need a safe space where they're supported and loved and taken care of because the resources should be put towards them just as much as getting other people to become empathetic.
So a space for nice people.
Pretty much. I'm
So
kidding.
it sounds like campfire and kumbaya.
Yeah, it's like so they're not getting attacked by people who can't practice empathy, you know?
So do the people who practice empathy, I mean, I'm sure it's a slope, right? So it's some type of Monday I am, Tuesday I'm not. Maybe
Yeah, but I think it's at your core too. Like it comes down to your values too.
true. But
But
yeah,
you can have non-empathetic moments where you're like, no, I'm not going to practice empathy today. 90% of that comes from survival.
all right. How do you determine these things? So how does that create any type of scope creep? So where does the
You
scope
know,
creep come in?
because now I want to build like a whole NFT. I don't even know what I want to build, but something towards the empathetic people
A smiley
where they
face. A smiley
no,
face.
no.
Smiley face. Like just a quick little boom boom boom, like a little doodle. Doodles made $500 million.
Yeah, but
Like,
I'm not going to give non-empathetic people a cool ass brain and then give the empathetic people a doodle. No offense,
I mean,
you know? I'll think about it. Your mom can probably help me though.
boy oh boy. Talk about the woman who has bought crazy outfits for a little girl who's not even born. Wow. Wow. What mother, slow down. Like, why is all this stuff being delivered to my house?
It's
Oh,
out
well,
of
she had
excitement.
this was so cute. This was too cute. Oh my God. This is for the one when
You wouldn't
she's one.
know because you're not, see, if you had a woman's level of empathy, you would understand that cuteness just overrides logic.
But I found so many like black and pink Jordans and all these other stuff that I like, you know, like
You got to go buy them yourself.
Amara wears Air Maxes that I like. Like I approve Air Maxes. right? Like it gotta be the right ones. Like, you can't just get any type of sneaker. You have to get the right ones. And so while she's looking, she'll say, "Oh, I like this." I'm like, "Oh, but you need this one. You need the original OG neon green 95 Air Max. Like you need
You
those
gotta get
colors,
both.
huh?"
You gotta get both.
She gets both, but she got to get those. She got to get the right ones.
Okay.
Keep it G.
All right. New topic. How do you feel about Elon buying Twitter? Because people won't shut up about it. And then on top of that, Stripe having Polygon payments on Twitter. That blew my mind today.
So Elon Musk, indifferent, not bothered. But the funniest thing I did see was that some woman posted, some black woman. She was like, "Oh, isn't it great that an African American owns the biggest social network in the world?" And I thought that was hilarious because Elon Musk he's South African and he lives in America. And I was like, that's hilarious, but it doesn't count. Um like, nice try, but we're not drafting Elon. Like, we're not claiming him. But it was cute. It was funny. It made me laugh. Good Twitter banner. That's the extent that I have. To be honest, I could
Okay.
care less. I don't think he's gonna do anything crazy. If he does,
Yeah, I
so
don't
be it.
really mind. I do think that Twitter is doing everything in their power to keep up and not let Discord rule the world. That's
Um,
my
they're tightly integrated. Like,
yeah.
like you're gonna have Twitter, but you have to still. You can't. It's not gonna like Discord will probably take over.
But you know
Um,
what's interesting? One of the DAOs that I'm involved in now, they're actually leaning. They spent like 6 years. 6 years. What am I talking about? They spent 6 months trying to migrate everyone to their Discord, and now they're not onboarding through Discord anymore. They said that they've gotten a lot of feedback where people are overwhelmed by it and just trying to onboard someone into like a whole bunch of channels, which I agree is kind of overwhelming. So they're taking more of like an approach, kind of like developer DAO, I guess, with you, where you get your calls, you meet the people, everyone sets you up, and then after you have access to the resources, which is cool.
yeah, I mean, you just have to have someone to teach you how to use Discord. So if you're not like mindful of the particular person, the prime like people who come in for a particular reason need a template of what channels they should have on mute, what
Mhm.
channels they should have active, what they should have closed, what they should have open, and like go through everything else at your leisure. Because if not, I mean, that's what I did with Developer DAO. Like, it can be information overload, but I have it all the right shit muted. I have it properly configured, so like I can
It's
go.
human nature wise, half of us are really great at filtering through information overload. Other people, it's a lot, right? Like
Well, that's what
it's
I said. Like, there should be a template. There should be
yeah,
a template for people who don't know how to filter through.
that's
Like, it's
smart.
so if you
That
have this,
that should be a part of my DAO. What was that board thing I was trying to make? The whole Toby bookmarks thing, DAO onboarding situation.
yeah,
Yes, that should be part of one of those.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
I still
Um,
want to do that. I might give
the
that a
way
shot today.
the way I kind of think about it is like, if you look in our document, I put in like our internal projects before I did now, and like how much I think they're going to cost. But like the aggregator and indexing component, I feel like that's where what you're referring to comes into play, because that is onboarding a person. It's kind of like Coinbase. Have you used Coinbase?
Yeah.
So you know how you have to, not have to, but you have the option to like take those little tests and you earn tokens from taking the test.
Hmm.
Well, I want something kind of similar, but you have to go through some type of process if you want to get like a free idea token, right? But
What
you're
type?
learning. What was that?
Wait, sorry, repeat the last part.
So if you want an idea token, you want to be able to submit your idea and get an idea token, you're going to need to go through a process, right? So the process kind of similar to how you get a token if you're on Coinbase, but more art flavor, more art style, more graphic, more video, more content driven, more easy to understand and on board
Mm-hmm.
layman's person who might not even understand Web 2 into Web 3. So they go through this process, they're in this dashboard, so to speak, and now they have the opportunity to claim a token and then submit their idea. Now, once they've submitted their idea, people can rally around their idea, similarly to how you'll see at a hackathon, right?
Yeah.
Like at a hackathon, I'll put my post-it on a board, or there's a channel for me to post my idea that's a slide deck of my idea, and people can rally around my concept. Now that you have a formalized team, you guys should hack on something. And then the community is going to say, okay, during this small mini duration, this was the best idea. That
Right.
idea receives idea token.
Do you know what that is?
What is that?
In design thinking, when we do crazy eights and just like any type of design thinking activity with ideas, you do the little voting session after, and therefore it's all design thinking.
Um, I think it's design thinking, but I also would say it's also community thinking as well, right? Because you're
Sure.
going to meet someone. Because here's the thing: everybody doesn't have their own ideas. Like, I'm of the notion as everybody should start something and have their own idea. When I went to ETH Portland, there was a ton of developers that's like, look, I don't have my own idea. Like, I just want to build somebody else's cool idea. I just want to be a part of something, right?
Okay.
And I don't think that that's a bad take or stance either. And so, if you can get people to rally behind your concept and idea, but you've been taught all these different things before you got your token to submit it. Well, the goal then is, well, if you get an idea token that has liquidity, who can further build out your concept? Dope DAO. So that's
You just really connected them all together.
correct. So there's an exchange of value, right? So you take your idea token, you pay for it, your idea to get fleshed out further with people are all in here. Okay. Children.
Kids NFTs and action.
Yeah. We gotta sell her dresses. They're done.
You need to stop.
Her dresses are done. Like I could share
Oh,
my
I thought
screen.
you were talking about like real clothing. Okay.
No,
Like
she
the
got
NFTs
this.
are done?
Yeah, she got this dope ass. Here, I'll share it with the world.
Are we gonna make a landing page for it?
Are you
You're
what?
just gonna put it on the are we gonna make a landing page for it, or you're gonna put it on the marketplace?
You know, it's definitely up for discussion. There's no
You know what I forgot to mention when you were going on your Air Max rampage? That Nike has they have like this new NFT thing where the swoosh changes colors and hues, and it's like a whole thing.
okay. Let's see if this works again. Share screen.
Sync Studio reports back on its treasure hunt to get Nike's first NFT. It's actually really cool. It looks nice.
All right, can you see?
Yeah. Whoa, yeah. It's already in the configurator?
Yeah, it's done. That's the
Wow.
spider with the web coming down.
I'm scared of spiders. I'm terrified, but it's cool.
I mean, she drew it. This was original drawing. So we got the original drawing, and we have a time lapse video of her starting from scratch and her just drawing that entire
Oh,
spider
that's cool.
drawing. And then now we have this as a final rendition.
Wow, Mara. Okay.
So she has this one.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
she has a flower dress, and
I've
then
seen the
she
flower. Yeah.
and then she has one that's on fire. It's a fire dress, like if you think about Hunger Games, like Katniss and like her flame dress. So she has
Okay.
one with flames all over this shit. It's pretty dope.
That's
So
cool.
So yeah, we I told her I'm like, look, man, you get a certain amount of people in your Discord, you come into NFT NYC.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of fashion designers that would be so amazed by that and would love that.
Yeah, so we got to figure out a little utility. She needs some utility with her NFTs.
I want
I
to
want, huh?
I want to join. I want to buy an NFT.
Yeah, she
I want to
wants.
be part of her team. That's cool.
I'm trying to figure out how I can get like at least for the boys, like a 16 and under, like Discord
Oh
jumper.
yeah, you told me about that. Yeah.
That'll be fun for them. But yeah. What else? What else is on the docket? What else is on your brain?
Um, I've just been lost in the sauce of IP and design thinking this week. I've also been lost in music NFTs because of work, and I've been lost in so our licensing team, they're on top of it. And so they've been reaching out to like Roblox and all these guys being like, pay up because of streaming. And they're like, no, we're in the metaverse. There's no streaming. And our licensing team's like, no, it's a broadcast. I don't care. So I've been in a lot of those meetings. That's kind of like dominated my thought process of like music and NFT games, music and NFT metaverses, music and anything that is not Spotify, really. But what's cool is I think Sandbox reached out and they actually are interested in talking and stuff. So I think that's dominated most of my thought process. Is just I'm still stuck in music NFTs if I'm being honest.
So I talked to you. Ian works with BitTrees, but he's a musician. So he has some NFTs, some music NFTs. And so I was talking with his partner, Ben, and them, and I asked him about like, well, what do you do with a DAO that has an individual with their likeness? And they have some really good insights. And they work with a lot. They've done a lot of music NFTs. They work with DAO House Records. They've worked with like Near Protocol has a music arm, which is super big. Like Near's huge. So I told them about what we're doing, and they're like, "Oh, love to help." I want to interview them on our podcast together. I think that'll be really sweet, just to have like this round table of music, bring theirs in,
I love that. Yeah.
and just have a bunch of people powwow about music in the space. Um, but yeah, I think because my question to him was like, why don't you think music NFTs have taken off yet? And the funny answer that I got was because artists aren't creating a community together. And I was like, we got a solution for that. Like that's literally what Party My Living Room is about, like having
Mhm.
artists create this community in this fun way. So I thought that was like validating and confirming around what we're already leaning towards and working towards. But yeah, I think music NFTs have not hit it right at all just yet. Like they're on the same people. Some people are doing well. Most people are not doing well with music NFTs. So it's just like I see people. You can affiliate yourself with the protocol who has hundreds of thousands of dollars to promote your music NFT, and the more eyeballs, the people who get your NFT, it's more than likely going to sell more than others. So right now, the people that I see with that level of success with music NFTs, they're affiliated with some other protocol. They have some type of relationship.
It's some type of relationship for sure, or they've really emphasized their story to the point where the community is invested in their entire story. Like that's the way I've seen it. But I actually have a little bit of a different view in the way that I think because it's just a different form of technology. In my brain, it's just a different, not even technology, but it's just a different distribution channel for an artist or musician. So if you really take it back into like CDs and stores and all of those different, like you still have all your different distribution channels. Now it's just one other distribution channel that is so brand new that you don't know which store is going to sell your CDs. You don't know if there's even buyers in those stores. You don't know because like they're still figuring out, they're still becoming the Walmarts or whatever examples of like CD stores.
No
We had
Walmart.
I know I was gonna say we had HMB. I don't know why that came to mind, but you know what I'm trying to say? It's like a whole different distribution channel that's kind of untapped. It's still being discovered. And so obviously in comparison to this other distribution channel that's been established for endless amount of time and the mass majority of humans are paying attention to, they're not going to take off. But I still think that there's massive value in it provides secondary source of income that is immediate and both parties value immediately.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. I think, to be honest, not just artists being on a particular protocol or platform, like artists need to create their own ecosystems
Mm-hmm.
and have multiple exchanges and stores of value in exchange, and that will drive mass adoption, I
I'm not
think.
going to lie though, this week I was in a call about royalties and I was just thinking the entire time I want designer royalties. I still stand by it. I still want designer royalties.
So my I guess my thinking with that is, how do you accumulate, like, because the design, like, I get where you're coming from, but I still don't get it. Like when I looked at like slicing pie and like how they have perpetual equity or like perpetual royalties,
Yeah.
it's like it's like if you do something, no matter what it is, there's a fair market value for all of our contribution.
But
Right?
I'll tell you where
Hold,
my brain's at.
hold on. So there's a fair market value for everybody's contribution. So if
Mhm.
you're a doctor, there's a fair market value of what you should be paid out as a doctor. If you're a contractor, right? And even if you're at the high end, you're at the high end, but there's still a fair market value. And so if I put in, X amount of time to contribute to something, and let's say I do it for 3 weeks, right?
Mhm.
I'm working on something. Let's say I give you the best idea, right? Like, this is your strategy. You should do this, 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 and this, and everything that I tell you actually works. But what I told you, it needed 10,000 hours of manpower to execute it. That 10,000 hours is going to outbalance the 80 hours that I just gave you. Now, yeah, it may be IP or something creative, but in perpetuity, because things are constant, things aren't static,
Mhm.
right? There's going to be constant development, there's going to be constant design, there's going to be constant changes. You have to accrue all those other variables in. So I think that there can be royalties, but it can't be like a royalty based on like the entirety of the project, right?
No.
Like,
Know what it is? Okay, I'll tell you what it is. Because I've thought about this. I can't get this out of my mind. I think it's because I spend so much time doing royalties for streaming that I think about, well, what's a stream? A stream is someone clicking on a button and listening to something, right? It's on an app. So if you're a designer and you're building apps, every time someone clicks a button, that's a stream in my brain. It's the
but the
same thing.
but that's it's a part of the click, right? Because there's still like a developer who developed it, right?
Well, yes, no, I believe in developer royalties too. I think actually it should be half half, just like how you have songwriter and producer, right? Like
But
maybe it's
then
not called designer
there's
royalties, but there should be a
there's,
product.
there's designer, then there's developer, then there's marketer, then there's community, then there's operations, then
Yeah,
there's
no.
yeah. Technically, if you think about how a widget, if you go back to like widgets and like economics 101.
Okay, so all those people should get their royalties too.
Yeah, and that's why people have like employee like pools where it goes into a pool of money and everyone is equally, or not equally, but they have their levels of distribution based on that. Like that's in place. I think if you wanted to do something, like if it was like I'm going to like MVP something, which is why, like, think about a startup accelerator, right? They'll give you 100 grand for 6% of your company, but they're going to think about all the stuff that they give you for that 6%, and in that whole 6%, it can dilute and go back to zero, right? They just want to stay. They're giving you money. They're giving you resources. They're showing you how to build it, design
Mhm.
it, think about it, execute it. They find you partners to sell it so you have instant cash flow and revenue, profit, and sales. So it's like how do you equate how would you equate like design royalty with like startup accelerator if you want to put that on a scale?
I don't see them as mutually exclusive because
Well, and I'm just saying, like, you had to compare the two with each other. Like, how would you compare an accelerator that will give your project 100 grand, and they just want a
okay, I
six?
get what you're saying, but no, because I just think of it from the perspective of if I designed an experience that equated to X amount of value over time, I should be paid out for every time that thing was experienced.
Does that person? So let's say it goes the opposite way. So let's say it decreased experience. Can they charge you extra for a decrease in experience? Can they get some extra work if it does
Maybe,
not work as intended?
maybe. I mean, because you do it naturally anyways. And if you think about it, regardless, even if it doesn't perform well, we got a kiddo.
Yeah.
Hi, what's up? I saw your dresses. They look awesome. Are you ready to sell them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Bye bye.
Wait, no, come back. You got an NFT kids idea? You're a teenager now. You got a teenager NFT idea?
You can take like 2 cartoons and like mix them together, make it into an NFT.
Boom.
So quick. So quick. I like that one. It's the floating head. It's the slow float. Um,
So there's things like that, and then
my point was that the company that you do it for will make you fix the problem regardless. Like it's not like you discover that something doesn't work and then it is what it is. You're still going to have to improve it in order to meet your performance and get your salary anyways. So, yeah, I am still doing work anyways.
so I mean, but isn't that where like bonuses come in at? I think for me, it in
Yeah,
web.
but a bonus is okay. So the bonus would be the same equivalent as giving an artist a lump sum of money and being like, here, I paid your fee. You shouldn't get any of your performing rights, neighboring rights, none of that.
No, I think that is the equivalent of the salary. The bonus, in addition to the salary, is for all incentivizing for all the extra that you've done. So, like, that's why salaries are on a scale. You can get a 20% salary, you could get a 5% salary. How did your contribution have a greater impact for
Mm,
this year or quarter for what we were trying to accomplish? Right? No?
I still want my royalties.
So, look, you can have royalties. Well, I guess you can have royalties, but I feel like in a Web3 sense, you're more so just incentivized with like NFTs and tokens. But I'm not exactly sure how you not store, but measure the value impacted based off of
At
a
least
design.
with NFTs and crypto, honestly, yeah, it goes up and down, but there's some movement on it. So there's more of a chance that you're going to earn rather than just being given a lump sum in this society with this interest and being like, here's your here's your money for creating that experience. No, every time that experience is valued and shared and is generating revenue and profit, no, I want my royalty for it.
So, can someone get a royalty for their idea? I guess so. I guess so. You can't get royalty if it. But
Yeah,
see, So that's the
Because
thing.
it's so different. How is it any different than music? If
So,
I'm the idea person, I'm laying the foundation. So
but if you think about it, it's a little. So if you said, but we all agree that streaming is broken, right? So if we can't view it in the same lens of what we're claiming to be broken, and say, well, let's do it off what we just said was broken. Now, I think that there is, again, I do
streaming
think.
is broken because the payouts are broken. However, the royalty structure, I am actually very passionate about this. The royalty structure isn't broken. Like paying someone a fee and also paying them for their rights and their copyright and all of their stuff, that's not broken to me. The payouts per stream is what's broken.
I think there's definitely some loose bolts within the royalty ecosystem as well, for sure.
I
For
mean, data wise, yes. However, I'm still saying like let's not get rid of the royalty system while we have it, okay?
Well, let's not get rid of it, but I mean,
But
so
we
it's
can
kind of
redesign.
so what was that?
We can redesign. That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, redesign, but also like it's kind of like my ethos around us having to rethink competition, right? Like I was talking to someone who's funded, they're building out like a new Upwork, and they're like, I want to make this a DAO. And I was like, here's my documentation. Look at it. It wasn't like, damn me, oh shit, they could do exactly what I'm doing and just copy and steal and all this stuff. It was like, no, look at what we made. And if it inspires you to branch off from it, because that's in true Web3 ethos, like rethinking competition and
Mhm.
rethinking ownership are huge in Web3. It's kind of like what you said earlier about like I don't care if this is my idea, like I just wanted to serve a better purpose and have existence for the better purpose versus me just getting like full credit for it. That's the same sometimes in the instance of
Getting credit, like credibility versus getting paid out for your contribution are two separate things. That's where I'm coming from.
so I guess I agree, but I still feel like
Hey.
with music, I make a song, right?
Mhm.
Said song gets played on wherever. So I should be paid every time that song is played, right? That's tricky.
Why?
I don't know. Like,
Why is
so,
it any different than the person who put a specific button on
well, not just
not
not just design.
I'm not trying to discredit music because music is like a masterpiece situation, but how is it any different than someone who puts a button on a place that everyone uses on a like 15-second situation and the developer who actually coded it?
So I'm not going to. I'm going to play outside.
Forfeit this.
No, I'm going to draw outside the lines. So my question is, if I sell you a plate set, should you pay me every time you use it to eat?
You could create a model like that. Yeah, technically you could create a model like that.
Every time you eat, you're going to pay me to eat every time you use my fork and bowl and spoon.
You're doing it anyways. You're just doing it with like I'm paying $10 up front versus okay, maybe that's not a good example. I can't fight this one. I really can't. But I will die on my design hill.
Look, I wanna help, but I wanna help it because I
It
wanna
might not
help.
apply to every use case. It could just apply for this use case.
Well, I want it to work because I think that if it can work, you're creating new disruptive models for businesses. And that's what Web3 is all about. So it's like, see what can stick and see how it can stick. I'm just looking at all the other components of value. And this is even why when people talk about in network effects of DAOs, you have your active participants and you have your passive participants. And a lot of times in like Bankless or Olympus DAO or Aave or these big financial protocols, it's
Which all have really cool names. I don't know what's going on, but they all have amazing names.
So the passive participants in the network make the most. They do the best. It's because the exchange of the utility or exchange of value is I'll give you some money, and then you'll reoccurringly every month give me some APY or some yield back.
And I don't really have to do too much.
I don't have to do shit. So it's a very simple exchange. And those passive participant network effects are blow up. And sometimes
imagine you have that level of culture or value, and then you have other people part of that are very, very active participants. Those are the people who deserve the royalties.
Well, to me, it's like incentive based. Well, it's incentive based. So incentive and royalty to me in Web3 can kind of be synonymous, not completely, but can kind of be a little bit, just a tad. Whereas if there was a bounty on designing a UI for a index of information around DAOs, right? You could say, okay, well, here's the fixed amount for the project or hourly rate, whatever. But then you can incentivize by saying, hey, we'll give you these tokens of sorts that can do X, Y, and Z. Maybe there's multiple tokens. Maybe there's tokens plus, you know, a certain percentage based off of growth, some type of metric that can quantify it back for your liquidity. Like, I'm not sure, but that is a crazy ass math equation to figure out in real time to determine how much royalty should be paid out on something like that. That's crazy. It's crazy. And that, like, because what you said is, in one instance, there's like the gig work of it. And then the second part of it, what you mentioned, which is true, is a salary component where you'll be iterating anyway. So
yeah,
you got to definitely distinguish which path we're talking about when it comes to royalty. So yeah, I agree. I think it can work. I think, but royalties and DAOs to me are just like your extra incentives. So do this particular task, complete this bounty of design or development community. You'll get X amount of stable coin plus X amount of whatever coin plus an airdrop of some NFTs that have value plus whatever else. And that's kind of what we're doing within like this ecosystem where you'll be airdropped NFTs from like the marketplace as an example.
I think the only difference would be with royalties, there is this notion of duration and repetition in that duration. Whereas with all the other stuff, it's like a one-time thing. It's not over. I mean, it could be dispersed over a duration if you created it like that.
Well, and that works. See, that model, it works. Whereas you could have a royalty system based not only just on that one screen, but like I said earlier, where it's perpetual, where you've accumulated the iterations. Like the more iterations you do, maybe the more royalty that you get, right? Because you've been around, but now you technically have skin in the game. And that's what Slice and Pie is all about. It's saying like a person can put in, when you're starting something and there's zero contribution, and someone puts in $10,000 and everyone else just puts in time, there's going to be an imbalanced scale. But after 2 years of people putting in 2 years worth of time, it's going to outbalance that $10,000, right? Because there's a fair market value on that person's time. So I think, yeah, if it's perpetual like that, like the design is perpetual, yeah, there should be like a royalty scale for the long. But again, that's where see, I'm rethinking competition. We're all winners. We're all going to make it. How about that? Wag me.
Wow, so much empathy you're practicing today.
You know, I tried to practice empathy on a daily basis, but it's very difficult.
I gotta send you a bracelet.
I definitely need a bracelet.
Should we play our game?
Let's go.
Mm. Okay, got it. This word's actually come up a couple of times this week.
Okay, I do not have it yet. All right, I got it. Who's gonna say mine?
Huh?
Who's gonna say mine? Cause my shit be messing up.
Go for it.
Okay, my word is soul bound.
Soulbound.
Soul bound. Yeah, deep. Soul bound.
My word is generation.
Ooh.
That's weird. Yeah.
Ooh.
I've had this card for a while. It was sitting on my desk. It says inspiring the next generation of innovators. It was this woman I met at a conference.
Cool.
Soulbound generation.
So soulbound are NFTs that you can't transfer. They're bound to Saba.
Did you just make that up?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a thing. So these type of NFTs are like from games like World of Warcraft, where this particular weapon is only meant for you. You can't sell it, you can't trade it. It's soul bound to who you are as an individual, as a human being. It's just yours and yours only. It's kind of like, have you ever seen what's the TV show that my kids watch? His Dark Materials. It's an HBO show, but like every person has what's called a demon, but a demon is like a pet.
Okay.
So like you're born with this demon. So like one person has like a monkey, and if you hurt the monkey, you hurt the human. They're soul bound together. They're tied together. So you can use and we're considering even using some of these like non-transferable NFTs for like governance amongst DAOs, where like it's yours. Like that's you. And like so when you think about that in relationship to generation, that's a kind of a cool concept. Like, how do you generate some of these soul-bound NFTs within a DAO ecosystem? Maybe I look at your reputation and the proof of work and maybe your proof of attendance, and I generate something specifically for you that can't be duplicated and you cannot sell it or transfer it. And maybe you give it some.
Can I burn it? Because I don't want things out there if I can't burn it myself.
I guess sure. Why not?
Yeah, I want to burn it. Then I'm fine with it.
Yeah, but it's generated just for you.
That's cool. That's the most customized NFT.
Yeah. So you would scan like activity and generate something based on that. Soulbound generation, ladies and gentlemen. Boom.
We didn't use the word generation at all.
We didn't?
No, we got to figure it out.
I thought it was a use generation.
Yeah, but it has to serve a purpose.
Well, that's how it's created. It's generated based off of.
Oh, I was thinking of generation like age generations.
Oh yeah, I was looking at it based on like it's
like generating it. Yeah.
No. Age generation. I mean, age can be a variable. Like age in life can be a variable. I always feel like if you can explain Web3 to a 8-year-old and a 65-year-old, you're on to something.
Even also, go through different generations on their own. You're traveling through generations.
Oh, so
your soul is bound to travel through generations.
So I'm not sure how that would actually work unless there was like real time travel. You can go to like the 60s and reenact or live something in that time frame era. But yeah, sure, why not? Time travel NFTs.
There's no limit to these NFTs.
Yeah, time travel NFTs.
I'm into it. What happened to Dave's project?
Davis rocking and rolling. Yeah, rocking and rolling.
He's ready to go live.
Not ready to go live. I want to go live with our marketplace. As
It
a
looks so
project.
sick. I like it. I'm really happy about it. Moss killed it.
Yep, as always.
Floaty.
Floaty in the middle of humanity. All right.
I'm gonna go practice empathy. Ooh, new life event. I signed up for this place in the city that is like, what have I been sleeping on this whole time? Why was I intimidated by it? But it's basically like a co-work spot that has spin, yoga, Pilates, meditation, bar, restaurant, cafe situation. It's all in one, like a little loft situation. And it's so heavenly. So now I'm meditating a lot more. I actually really want to come to that meditation NFT event.
Yeah, I do too.
Send me the info.
I will.
And I just need to think of all the other stuff left over for practice empathy.
I'll share my my cool hat.
You got
And
merch?
NFT storage.
Oh my goodness.
I started a company. It's a fire company, and they got a fire ass quality hat.
That's cool.
I like it. The kids wear them. Marze sold one for $30 at school.
Shut up.
He did. He told me he sold it, and I was like, "Show me the money." He showed me the money, and I was like, "Good job. Keep it." He sold for free swag.
That's cool. Throw it on Idea DAO's website.
I will. We will. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, hopefully, this time next week, we can have Idea DAO ready to rock and roll. We can even start introducing it, but we got people to interview. We got ideas and projects to showcase and highlight.
You think Idea DAO is going to be live next week? That's so exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
So much to look forward to.
The only problem was like, at least in my opinion, was like not having like the clarity in like the writing all formed and situated. But now that that's like discussed, yeah, not on the website, but like the Get books.
Oh yeah.
Stuff, like the white paper and the tokenomics and
no,
like,
you guys killed that part. I went through it.
So I mean, it's still a couple things we want to like flesh out, but high level, that stuff will be done and it'll look nice and it'll just be kind of like draft one. But even then, as a draft one, we can still sell tokens and make money. Like we can sell those tokens. We have these NFTs. We have these NFTs. So people can kind of get in wherever they fit. And
did I send you the fonts?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I don't know why I forgot. Because that's the only thing that's killing me about it. I did.
For sure.
I feel like I did. I'm gonna look it up after this. But thanks for joining us, friends. I'll be back. Do you think we got a live viewer?
We did not get a live viewer. We just need to post. We need to like have like that template poster flyer thing.
That person ghosted us.
He did ghost us.
We need a new person.
We do. He was good. We already like agreed to like rates and shit. I was like, this is fine. Like it's affordable. Like, let's go.
Oh, you know, I have one more topic. I totally forgot. I was going to talk to you about this. It's going to kill me if I save it. How do you navigate? What tools? My friend was like, you got to stop using tools and technologies. But what tools and technologies do you use to help you navigate like your pre-existing relationships, more so your relationships than your work? Because it's actually your relationships, I've realized, in Web 2, when you're trying to go like all in Web3 and balance both workloads, but it's not even like the workloads a lot, it's the relationship that you have to maintain.
So
Because
how
it's
do
like
you?
it's almost like people from a different part of your life want to work with you, talk to you, but you're also focused on making other connections, building other ideas. Huh?
Microsoft Teams. It's a joke.
I know. But
So I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I just do it. I think a lot of sometimes, at these conferences, like when you're exchanging information with people, you'll say, "Oh, like what are you using?" And some people are like, "I just use text message. Like I still use
I'm
text."
talking about like a real app. I'm talking about how do you maintain that relationship, but also do all your workload and meet all your Web3 people on this side, not with like an app. That was a bad example.
You gotta just do it. You gotta just do it. I think what tends to happen is some people are gonna think you're really crazy. Like, oh, you're doing what now? You're trying to go all in on what? This is fake. You're in the Ponzi scheme. You drunk the Kool-Aid. Sure, whatever. But then there are the feeling around Web3 with people who get it and are in the space and working
I
and
actually
trying to.
explained that to someone. I explained that to one of my friends. I said, the only cool part that I'm really, not the only cool part, but the really amazing part about meeting NFT people or Web3 people is the fact that I don't have to explain this to you. And I don't have to go through the process of you not understanding why I believe in this value. It's like, oh no, you actually get it. Okay, cool. Let's be friends.
Right. I mean, it's all evolving. It's all emerging. We're all figuring shit out as we go along.
That's what
Um,
I wanted to hear, really low key, is that we're all figuring it out because it's hard some days.
it is, but some days it's easier than others. And I will say, we're all just overcomplicating it for no absolute reason. But the reason we're overcomplicating it is because it's a new market. So, like, when you're in a new market, what do you want to do? You want to use new words. You want to change shit up. Like, you want to make things seem so complex. And you're really taking everything from Web 2 and making it tokenizing it. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you're not fooling anybody here. So, but to keep the allure and the myth of it all, you kind of have to kind of do that to a degree. So it's confusing for no reason, like literally no reason. So once everything is normalized and it has mass adoption, like a wallet versus a hot wallet, a cold wallet, like fuck out of
Mm-hmm.
like whatever.
Yeah.
Doxing. Have you been doxed?
I don't even know what that is.
So that's when someone looks you up on Google and tells your identity. So if you were like just your number with like
You know what I did see? I saw this NFT. It's an identity NFT card. So it stores, it's pretty much a driver's license as an NFT.
it's like Bright ID.
Maybe. Let me see if I can find it. Then, I was trying to spell finance today and I kept spelling fiance.
That's funny.
And I did it in front of people 3 times. And I started laughing. I was like, what can I say? It's on my mind. I can't find it, but I will find it because it's pretty interesting. And I don't know why. Like, I don't understand the value proposition, but I really want to get into what the value prop is for me to have an NFT of my identification and be very publicly known on the blockchain like that. It's like a whole different take.
Check out Bright ID and then check out like Proof of Humanity. Those are 2 good ones. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
This isn't the one. I know where you're going. I'll find it. Bye, friends.
Have a good one.